Team Novo Nordisk. We live with diabetes. Team Novo Nordisk is a global all-diabetes sports team of cyclists, triathletes, and runners, spearheaded by the world's first all-diabetes professional cycling team. We train and race like any other athlete. But living and racing with diabetes requires a different approach. Here's how we do it. On my training rides, luckily jerseys have pockets. I carry in there an insulin pen, a cell phone, my wallet, and a little card that actually says I have diabetes, and also wear a medical alert bracelet that shows that I have diabetes as well.
On some of my longest training rides, there's a few must-haves for me. It's my ID, my insulin pen, my testing kit, my continuous glucose monitor, and then with nutrition, it's water, sports drink, energy bars, energy gels, salt tabs, that's what loads my bike and my pockets.
On a long training ride, I'll take my continuous glucose monitor, plenty of food, like energy bars and gels, my cell phone, headphones, and water bottles.
My number one thing I have is glucose tablets. They're rapid acting, and I know that if I get in a spot where I need some quick sugars, that's going to be the best thing for me.
The way I manage my blood glucose levels while I'm training is making sure to eat consistently and making sure I've also done the necessary steps prior to training by eating a proper meal and dosing correctly.
When I'm exercising, I aim to have my blood glucose at between 6.6 or 10 millimoles per liter or 120 to 180 milligrams per deciliter.
During exercise, the blood glucose levels I aim for are 6.6 to 10 millimoles per liter, which is 120 to 180 milligrams per deciliter.
What works for me is 6.6 to 10 millimoles per liter or 120 to 180 milligrams per deciliter. When training, what typically works for me in regards to my long-acting insulin is I split it and take half in the morning and half at night, which gives me a little bit more freedom to make adjustments on the fly.
When training, I actually adjust my rapid-acting insulin quite a bit.
After exercise, I tend to get more sensitive to insulin, so I'll back off both of my long-acting and rapid-acting.
When I'm on a long 5+ hour ride, I'll see a significant decrease in my fast-acting insulin. Assuming my blood sugar is in a good range at the start and I follow those trends throughout my ride, I can reduce my fast-acting by up to 90%.
Whereas my long-acting, I leave it the same every day because I'm training every day, and that's what works for me.
I avoid hypos during and after exercise by doing a few things. I check my blood sugar before, during, and after, making sure that I bring on the right amount of carbohydrates in the form of a sports drink or solid foods, again, before, during, and after exercise.
I avoid hypos both during and after exercise by working really closely with my healthcare professional team and determining what I need to do with my diabetes management in order, whether it's eating correctly or dosing correctly.
I avoid hypos during and after exercise by checking. I check 10 to 15 times a day. During training, sometimes I check every 30 minutes, and after training, it's check, check, check. With training, nighttime lows are one of the challenges that I try to avoid as best as possible, but they still do happen. In the 2 or 3 hours before going to sleep, I really keep an eye on my insulin dosage and my blood sugar readings. And then when I go to sleep, sometimes I might set an alarm and definitely have something right beside my bed, some glucose tablets that in case I do go low, I can get to them quickly.
I personally rarely experience nighttime lows. I'm fortunate enough to have a continuous glucose monitor. But if I've had a hard training, I know I need to back off my basal insulin before I go to bed to avoid those nighttime lows.
During intense training periods, I try to avoid nighttime lows as much as possible by doing a few things. Testing my blood sugar before dinner, after dinner, before I go to bed, making sure my insulin regimen was appropriate for whatever the dinner was, and then also keeping glucose nearby if, in case I were to need it. The main difference for me in my diabetes management between racing and training is really the adrenaline factor.
I treat training and racing the same when it comes to my diabetes management. I need to practice every day as close to the real thing as possible. So I treat every training the same as I treat a race day. I go through the same steps and the same process every day.
At race start, when I'm at that starting line, that's the one difference for me. Everything else, from nutrition to testing my sugars to carrying insulin, is pretty much the same, but needing to have a little bit extra fast-acting insulin to adjust and counteract that adrenaline factor, that's really the main difference.
Everybody's diabetes is different. So if you have diabetes, make sure you work with your healthcare professional to enjoy your sport safely.